Hello traders, Gary Wagner here. It is approximately quarter to 11 a.m. in Honolulu, making it quarter to 4 in New York City. It's Friday, the 10th day of February, and this is the daily report for gold and silver, our weekend review. Traders, we have the precious metals markets today under some pressure to end the week. We are well off of the lows, but we are still off about $10 in gold. As you can see, current print right around 17.19. It's been trading between 18 and 20. You have silver also off this morning, down about 42 cents on the day. And as you can see, our current print is 33.48. On today's report, I want to talk to you about what I believe is our current wave count and talk about where this corrective wave 4 that we're currently in will probably end or find support if in fact it didn't already last night. We'll also have a detailed look at silver, and we'll do that as we look at gold and silver each week from a technical perspective. Now, the first thing that we want to look at is going to be the dollar, because the dollar has really been the big player that has been a tremendous bullish influence on the precious metals markets, and gold in specific. You can see this top that came in. This is the beginning of the year right here. This is January. As January came in, it came up. It made a new high compared to the recent highs. And then we have been on this defined downtrend, currently trading around 78.66. When we look at our daily Henkin candles, which is what we are looking at currently, you can see that except for one candle, we have seen nothing but red on dailies all the way down as this market continues lower. Also, you get these absence of these upper wicks on a downtrend, which gives it an indication that the trend is not only intact, but it has some good momentum or good steam. That's influenced a lot of things. And when we take a look at our equities markets in the same format, this is our daily S&P, you can see this market has just been extremely bullish to the upside, 1340.02 on the S&P. But what we're seeing right now is a doji candle that's gone red. Is it significant? Well, we'll have to see, because you can also see other points in which we simply had a kind of a lull in that upside move, but we have to see how it wants to react here, because when we look at our Standard & Poor's and we match up some of these recent highs, you'll notice that we're trading just below it, although it did trade on an intraday basis above this particular resistance line, matching up to this set of tops right in here. Traders, we had a most interesting week in the precious metals markets. We have a couple of Henkin charts up here on top. This, of course, is a daily, so really to look at the week, all I want to do right now is convert that daily into a weekly. You can see that overall we are still looking at solid green candles on a longer term basis. We are still in a bullish cycle. However, within a shorter term perspective, we are currently kind of weathering this corrective wave, this wave 4 that I've got just below it right in here. We might in fact have tested the bottom when we saw lows of about 1706.60. That was in last night's trading. My daily subscribers, you know that that's a critical, what I'm calling a support level that could be a pivot point, and we have stops well below that. That's the reason I had pegged that number. We should find support there. If we don't, I fear that it will probably meander a little lower, could trade as low as maybe 1690, 1695, but I believe that this current base that we're forming is the conclusion of our fourth wave. And that, of course, traders, is a minor count within this intermediate count. So what I'm trying to say is this. This is the beginning of the rally, and we start our intermediate wave 1. The way my count is currently set and what I believe to be accurate as we came up, We have 1 and our correction here. We have 3, and then as you can see, we go into 4 here. Now, 4 could turn out to be an A, a B, and a C. In other words, if you look at Elliott Wave as a series of Russian dolls, you can even then take this minor count, of course, and then what you would look for is the ABC, just as within these particular waves, you look for a minor count also. So we have gone to a low that's below this previous low here. It has tested it. My sentiment is there is a pretty strong possibility that we in fact have witnessed the bottom or the conclusion of this corrective stage. If not, my sentiment is that we'll probably continue to form a base within this area before it then tracks higher. Now, assuming that at some point this correction will end, as of course they all do, what are the various points we're looking at? Well, we're certainly going to see resistance right in between, say, 1750 and call it 1760. That's this top here and this top here. That will be a first set. However, my belief is once we're able to take that resistance out, based on the fact that in many occasions your Wave 1 and Wave 5 are of equal length, this is where I drew this projection to 1850. Now, this would be 1850, and that would only conclude an intermediate Wave 1. That would be followed by an intermediate corrective wave. Now, that was a 720-minute. I think that the subwave count can be seen a little bit clearer when we look at the 360 intraday. This, of course, is in Henkin format. The one thing that you can see, 1, 2, 3, we're currently in 4. From 4, we'll go into 5. But it's much clearer when we break this down to a 360 that there's a distinct possibility that this wave 4, this corrective wave, could unfold as a simple zigzag or ABC correction. It's quite clear. A, B, currently in that final C wave within this minor wave 4. Traders, let's take a look at the silver market. The first thing is, of course, it has been under pressure as gold has, but by looking at our weekly chart, you can see this, of course, is in Henkin Ashi. We are still within a absolutely defined bullish uptrend. Yes, we've seen the market come down a little bit, but as you can see on a weekly basis, we are still within that bullish trend. However, when we convert this back to our daily chart, it looks a little bit different in that you can see this kind of a rounding top we have. You can see the alternating candle colors. You can see a market that has been testing and finding support. You can see that right around 33.25 and just below. You can see we have lows in this area. However, we do not have closes there. By converting it to straight candlestick chart, you get a very, very similar scenario. However, the one thing that we're seeing in a candlestick chart is really how sideways this market has been. You can really see the alternating candle color. Now, what are we looking for? Well, my sentiment is that we're forming a base just above this particular level, 33.45, and we currently have resistance, which is the 38% level right in here. And you can see that number as 35.07. So you've got just at the $35 mark, you have your resistance that we have to overcome. That's this 38% retracement right in here. And we do have, I believe, very, very strong support right within this area. So we've got this very tight range that we need to form a base, I believe, following gold, and then it will begin to move higher and test this next level, 35.07, and then 35.61. Now, on a technical basis, the only thing that actually is concerning me at this moment on a technical basis with silver is after making this top here at $44, the market comes down and retests this low at 26. Coming up, it stalls or makes a high of approximately $35 per ounce, and then you see this double bottom form right here towards the end of last year, beginning of this year. Now, what I'm seeing that I would like to read a little different is as it stabbed and went for these highs here, you can see that it was unable to, at least at this point, take out these most recent highs. So what you have is a flat bottom. It's not a lower low, but you also do not get a higher high as this market moves back up. And so it's obviously going to need to overcome this particular barrier before we can look at these next levels and see if it's going to move higher. My belief is it will. We are poised, I believe, for a pretty sizable move. Another way to look at it, this is our daily chart. It is absolutely my belief that, like gold, your major count here is completion of 4. We are in a major 5th. We are in an intermediate first. I haven't done a sub-count here, but my belief is we're still firmly entrenched in the first of our intermediate waves. We will get 2 more of them, and I believe the conclusion of Wave 5 intermediate, the conclusion of Wave 5 major, will have silver trade at a new record contract high, which would have to be above $50 to take over this high, as well as the high reached when the Hunt brothers attempted to take over the market. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you, as always, good trading. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on Monday for another daily update and review. Bye-bye.